coming up on Retiring Well with Michael Reese.
When it comes to your retirement income planning, you want to use dynamic returns, and specifically, you're going to be using some kind of probability analysis. When you're 70, would you rather have more Social Security, bigger Social Security check, but a smaller nest egg? Or would you rather have a smaller Social Security check and a bigger nest egg?
There's so much that goes along in income planning, and if you really don't understand that, it can really backfire. And we've seen this in a few cases where people have gotten some bad advice on what accounts to draw money out, and it's really cost them substantially.
Retiring Well with Michael Reese, helping you make smart decisions with your money so you can live a better life. Today is the day you can take back control of your money. Retiring Well with Michael Reese, where we believe your best is yet to come.
Welcome to Retiring Well. I'm your host, Michael Reese, and we've got a great show lined up for you this week. We're talking about income planning for your retirement. And this is really important because remember this is key. Your income equals your lifestyle. When it's retirement, when we're talking about post-retirement here, you're not working anymore. You're now retired. I like to call retirement 20 to 30 years of unemployment, because that's what it is. You don't want to be going back to work. So you 20 to 30 years of unemployment, the income that you have coming in equals your lifestyle. So a lot of times it's almost more important to protect that income than anything else, because that's what protects your lifestyle. So whenever you do income planning in your retirement, we always like to ask what we call the 3 success questions, right? The 3 success questions. And they're really simple. You just follow along with me. I think you're really going to like this. So success question number 1, when it comes to income, what's your goal? How much gross income do you want for your retirement? And said another way, how much income do you need coming in every month where you could sit back and say, you know what? I've got this coming in every month. I am good. And of course, you have to adjust it for inflation over time. But that's the starting point. You start with the goal. How much income do you want? What's your number? You might want to think about it pre-tax. I mean, if you were to come in and talk to us, we can always calculate, figure out what the taxes would be. Success question number 1, what is the goal? What are we trying to accomplish? I mean, that's planning in general, right? You always start there. All right, how about success question number 2? What do you have coming in that you can count on? What's coming in that you can count on? So I want to give you some examples of this. So for example, if you have Social Security coming in, you can count on that. It's going to be there every single month until you die. It is a guaranteed stream of income. Now, I know what's happening. I know some of you out there, you're saying, oh, well, wait, whoa, Mike, come on. You can't count on Social Security sometimes. I mean, even on my statement, it says that they're going to reduce benefits, in 2033 or 2034. Here's my comment there. The first time they reduce your Social Security check is, at the next election, your congressman, your senator is going to be out of there because you're going to kick them out because they didn't do anything about it. I promise you, your senators and congressmen know that. So they're going to take action to make sure your Social Security is, maintains the same. One thing I can tell you is this. Congresspeople, they care about getting reelected more than anything else, and they know they mess with Social Security, they're going to get booted out of office. So I wouldn't worry a whole lot about that. I mean, that's not reality. Reality is it's probably going to be okay. So what are other sources that you can count on? How about a pension, right? You can have a pension. My dad has a pension. Not many people do anymore, but a pension's going to come in every month. You can pretty much count on that. But then there are some other things that you think you can count on that, yeah, maybe you can, maybe you can't. So for example, what if you own rental units? What if you own real estate and you have people paying you rent every month? Can you count on that coming in? Well, in good economic times you can. Of course, I remember in 2008 where I had a guy came in, he was getting literally over 100 grand a year of income from his rental units. And because of the economic downturn, his 100 grand turned into about 30 grand overnight. So can you count on it? Can't count on it? Hard to say. But number two, success question number two is how much can you count on? Well, what's success question number three? Well, simple. Here's the goal. Here's what you can count on. What's that gap? And the question is this: how do you take your resources and fill that gap in a stable manner so that you have stable income, consistent income, where that gap is filled and you don't even have to worry about it? So what do you need, or what's a goal? What are your sources of consistent or dependable income? And number three, how are you going to fill that gap? Right? Those are great questions to ask when it comes to your income planning. All right, I don't want you going anywhere, because coming right up, we have got some great stuff that you need to think about with your retirement income plan, or said another way, protecting your lifestyle.
The new Trump tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands on your IRA. Learn how to take advantage of the new law at a dinner evening with your Retiring Well TV hosts from Centennial Wealth Advisory. This is a no-cost, information-only, no-pressure event with a fine dining experience you won't soon forget. Important topics we'll discuss are 3 ways to use the new tax code to move money into tax-free accounts at reduced rates, hidden tax-related pitfalls that most advisors are missing, the importance of managing risk and the effect of volatility on your retirement savings, the #1 mistake most Americans are making with their retirement accounts. Are you one of them? And much more. Dinner is on us, and there is absolutely no obligation. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that is most convenient for you. Tuesday, April 17th, or Thursday, April 26th, at the Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City, or Thursday, April 19th, at the Otsego Club and Resort in Gaylord. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important presentation and learn how the new tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Hi, I'm sitting here with Larry Flynn. Thanks for being here, Larry.
Thank you, Mike.
He's one of the advisors at Centennial Wealth Advisory. And folks, as you may know by now, we certainly invite you to come visit with us. It's absolutely free to get a second opinion on your retirement planning. And I think it's important to get a second opinion from someone who's a specialist when it comes to retirement planning. And Larry, I'm sure they're wondering, if they pick up the phone and they call and come visit with you, what can they expect? What's that experience like?
Well, Mike, they can expect not to get hard sold, okay? We're going to greet them warmly. We're going to sit down and talk to them a little bit about maybe their story, where they're from, where they grew up, how they met their spouse, what they're dreaming of doing once they get soon to be retired or retired.
Kind of what are their goals, right?
Yeah, what are your goals? We're going to talk to them a little bit about who we are, what we do, show them how we do things, especially dealing in the market realities we find ourselves in today.
Got it. So essentially, they're coming in, you're learning a little bit about what's important to them, what their goals are, what they're trying to accomplish. I'm sure you're taking a look at what they're doing so far. You maybe share a little bit about you, and it's just in a very relaxed atmosphere.
That's right.
And there's no cost to do this. Is that correct?
No cost. No cost.
All right. So, folks, there you go. I mean, it sounds very simple, very easy, very laid back. There's no reason for you not to just pick up the phone, call the number on the screen, come visit us, get that second opinion. You'd be glad that you did. Welcome to this week's Chalk Talk. This week we're talking about income planning. And today I'm going to share a big mistake that we see people making all the time with their income planning. This is the mistake, or a type of mistake, that can make or break your retirement. Now, for what it's worth, I will be honest with you, most people we see making this mistake, they're engineers. Engineers that love spreadsheets. These are the guys making this mistake all the time. But you know what? It's not just them. It's really a lot of us as we just think about our retirement planning. So let me give you an example here on the board of what I'm talking about. So the other day, in fact, this happens pretty much every week, we get someone coming in who is an engineer that loves spreadsheets. And by the way, nobody loves spreadsheets like I do. I love those spreadsheets. By the way, here's what they'll do with their retirement planning. They'll come in, they'll say, oh, here, we've done the math. Got the spreadsheet out. We've saved $1 million for retirement. Now, by the way, at home, you may have saved more than that. You may save less than that. The amount doesn't matter. They say, I've saved $1 million. So here's my inputs. I'm expecting that I'm going to earn about 7% a year. And I expect to distribute or take out for income 5% a year. So in other words, earn 7, take out 5. That should be good, right? And I expect to be retired. I'll live about 20 years. And they'll show me their spreadsheet, and they'll show me the math. And on the math, they say, when you take all of this into account, they say, I got $1 million today. I expect by the time I die 20 years from now, I'm going to have somewhere around $1.5 million that I leave to my family. And everything should be good, right? Looks pretty good to me. Earn 7, take out 5, you take out less than you earn. How could that possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong here? This looks good. What do you need me for? Right? But herein lies the mistake that so many people make with their retirement planning. They're using what I call static returns versus dynamic returns. Static versus dynamic. What does that mean? Well, here's what it means. Right here. Here's what I know. See that 5% number? Yeah, they're going to take that out every year. That we know. And it's going to be the same number they take out every year. So that's fine to be static, meaning the same every year. But what about that number? You tell me. When's the last time you earned exactly 7% as a return in your portfolio? And then you earned it again the next year, 7% the next year, and 7% the next year, and 7%. When's the last time you've earned the exact same return, 7%, every single year in your portfolio? When have you done that? Yeah, the answer is never. Because how does it really work? Well, hey, I got 20% this year, and I got 3% that year, and there's a plus 15, but wait, there's a minus 12. In other words, you get some positive years, you get some negative years. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. In fact, if I were to go back in time and look at the last 20 years on somebody like this, at the end of 20 years, they wouldn't have 1.5 million. They might have about 370K. Why? It has to do with something called order of returns or sequence of returns risk. And all that means is that 7% doesn't come all at the same time. Sometimes you have good years, sometimes you have bad years. And the reality is, if the bad years happen at the wrong time, it totally messes up your planning. Completely screws it up. So instead of using static returns, I'm going to earn 7% per year every year. Instead, when it comes to your retirement income planning, you want to use dynamic returns, and specifically, you're going to be using some kind of probability analysis. In other words, what you really should be asking yourself is the following. Given that I'm not going to earn 7% every year, that's going to be all over the place, you want to ask yourself the question, what is the probability that this is going to all work out for me? Is it 50%? Is it 90%? Where is that probability? And your job, our job as retirement specialists, is to help you make that probability that this is going to all work out as high as possible. No sure things in this world. It's dynamic. Have a probability analysis done.
The new Trump tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands on your IRA. Learn how to take advantage of the new law at a dinner evening with your Retiring Well TV hosts from Centennial Wealth Advisory. This is a no-cost, information-only, no-pressure event with a fine dining experience you won't soon forget. Important topics we'll discuss are 3 ways to use the new tax code to move money into tax-free accounts at reduced rates. Hidden tax-related pitfalls that most advisors are missing. The importance of managing risk and the effect of volatility on your retirement savings. The #1 mistake most Americans are making with their retirement accounts. Are you one of them? And much more. Dinner is on us, and there is absolutely no obligation. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that is most convenient for you. Tuesday, April 17th, or Thursday, April 26th, at the Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City, or Thursday, April 19th, at the Otsego Club and Resort in Gaylord. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important presentation and learn how the new tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands. Call 888-608-5825 today.
All right, welcome back. We're talking about income planning this week. And, part of income planning when you're retired is Social Security. I mean, let's be honest. You've been paying into Social Security for years and years and years. If you've been employed, your employer has been paying on your behalf for years and years and years. So now the question is, okay, you're retired or you're getting ready to retire. How do you take that Social Security asset and optimize it or get the most out of it for your retirement? So here's the whole problem, if you will, with Social Security, and that is it's not going to be the same for everyone. But here's the deal. If you can tell me exactly how long you're going to live, then I can tell you exactly how to optimize your Social Security. Pretty cool. That's a pretty cool deal, right? So just tell me how long you're going to live. I can tell you how to take Social Security. Easy peasy, right? Of course. The only problem with that is we don't know how long we're going to live. And I'll tell you the #1 mistake people make there. You underestimate how long you're going to live. That's the number one mistake. People underestimate how long they're going to live. Now, here's another mistake people make with Social Security planning. If you go to a lot of advisors out there, today in today's environment, a lot of advisors have this software, some kind of Social Security analysis software. You plug in your age, you plug in your full retirement benefit, and it will run all these various scenarios to identify how do you get the most out of your Social Security benefit, right? That's what it'll do. Here's basically what every single software program says. I don't need the program because I can tell you in advance what it's going to tell you. It's basically going to tell you, wait until you're 70, until it's a maximum benefit, and then take the benefit. And if you're married, there are a couple games you can play with your spouse, not as many as you used to, but essentially, it's going to tell you to wait till 70. Every time. Every time. And here's the reality. As long as you live past the age of like 82, 83, waiting until 70 makes sense every time. Now that assumes you live past the age of 82, 83, and some of you think you won't, but odds are you will. But here's the real big issue with that. The big problem is that it completely ignores everything else that you're doing with your retirement income. It ignores it. And that's a problem, because I'll tell you why. Let's imagine that you retired age 62. That's when you want to retire. You got $1 million saved for your retirement somewhere. And you have no pension, so you're like a lot of people today. Today, retirement for a lot of people is Social Security and retirement assets that you saved. 401k, Social Security. That's a big percentage of people these days. If you wait until, so you retired at 62, you're waiting until 70 to start that Social Security asset. So where are you going to get income from 62 to age 70? Where's your income coming from? Well, of course, it's coming from that $1 million retirement savings. That's where it's coming from. So what happens between age 62 and 70? You need so much income that you're pulling money from your retirement account over and over and over again. By the time you're 70 years old, your $1 million is maybe down to $500,000 because you had to take so much money out, right? And that's what you've got going forward with your Social Security. And that might work out fine. However, that may not match your goals. Because what if you instead took Social Security at age 62 when you retired? You wouldn't have to pull so much money out of that $1 million, would you? And when you're 70, maybe if you took Social Security at 62, you'd still have that $1 million nest egg. Well, when you're 70. When you're 70, would you rather have more Social Security, bigger Social Security check, but a smaller nest egg? Or would you rather have a smaller Social Security check and a bigger nest egg? Most people I talk to want the bigger nest egg because why? Well, number one, if you need health care later on in life, long-term care, bigger nest egg means more money to pay for it, more options. Number two, you can't leave Social Security to your kids, but you can leave your nest egg to your kids and your surviving spouse. So Social Security, those optimization programs, they don't always make sense. This is a tough choice a lot of times. This is why you want to talk to an advisor that's really good at optimizing your Social Security along with your other assets.
The new Trump tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands on your IRA. Learn how to take advantage of the new law at a dinner evening with your Retiring Well TV hosts from Centennial Wealth Advisory. This is a no-cost, information-only, no-pressure event with a fine dining experience you won't soon forget. Important topics we'll discuss are 3 ways to use the new tax code to move money into tax-free accounts at reduced rates, hidden tax-related pitfalls that most advisors are missing, the importance of managing risk, and the effect of volatility on your retirement savings. The #1 mistake most Americans are making with their retirement accounts. Are you one of them? And much more. Dinner is on us, and there is absolutely no obligation. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that is most convenient for you. Tuesday, April 17th, or Thursday, April 26th, at the Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City, or Thursday, April 19th, at the Otsego Club and Resort in Gaylord. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important presentation and learn how the new tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Hi, thanks again for joining us. My name is Larry Flynn, and I'm joined by Art Canfield. We are both advisors here at Centennial Wealth. Thank you for joining us. Art, I love this subject, income planning, right? I mean, because it's predominantly, what we're doing as we're working with people that are soon to be retired or retired, right? Mm-hmm. This is what they work their whole lives for.
Yeah. It's interesting when you say income planning because most people don't think about it this way, but most everybody has an income plan while they're working. It's their paycheck, right? That's their means of buying the groceries, meeting the household expenses, doing the things they want to do. But in retirement, somehow people tend to just forget about all that, and so, you and I were joking earlier about the dreaded budget. What is the budget? It's like whenever we say that word, it's like a swear word to some people. Nobody wants to hear about it, right? But one of the top questions we get asked all the time from new people coming in is can I retire? I'm working, I'm 62, I'm 65, whatever the age is, can I retire? Mm-hmm. Well, it's not just a magical. Some people say, what's the number I need to have? How much savings? Do I need to get to $500,000 or $1 million? That's really irrelevant when it comes down to the end of it. It's, goes back, what are you spending? What's going out? And as you guys talked about, earlier in the show and Mike went through, what are the forms of income that we can count on in retirement? Because as retirement's like 20 to 30 years of unemployment, we need to know what's coming in and during those. So also, a lot of times we ask the question back, well, what is your income plan, right? And what are the two answers we all get? One, I don't know what that is. Or, yeah, my advisor gave me this big book, and I think there's something in there, but I don't, it's so confusing or whatever. So, you know, income planning is really about understanding what's going out and what's coming in. And then what is that shortfall that those planned income streams are not meeting. And that's where we start to come in for investment planning and figure out what is that going to look like. And one thing that's really, and you can talk a little bit about this too with your expertise, but when a lot of people forget about when it comes to income planning is tax planning needs to roll right along with that, right?
That's right. Well, because if somebody's going to take income, right, that income, depending on how they take that income, whether it's coming from a qualified account or a non-qualified account, and all that means, viewers, is it's a retirement account or a non-retirement account.
Taxed or not, right?
That's right,
Yeah.
whether it gets taxed or not. But yeah, if they say they want, let's say, $60,000 a year of income, right? Most likely, depending on where we pull that income from, that we're going to have to deal with taxes too. That's going to have to be part of the income plan, right?
And a lot of it's not even just looking at year to year, but we need to look ahead, right? Because not only do taxes change and stuff like that, and we're seeing that as in the life we live in right now with this tax reform, but also, you know, RMDs, required minimum distributions. Unfortunately, if it's a married couple, there may be a death at some point of one or both of them. How does that play a role? You know, there's so much that goes along in income planning, and if you really don't understand that, it can really backfire. And we've seen this in a few cases where people have gotten some bad advice on what accounts to draw money out, and it's really cost them substantially, not necessarily on the investment but back to those the expenses that they could have either paid early or not paid. So, you know, having a really detailed income plan that looks at not only your sources of income, but investments and taxes is critical, leading into retirement and, of course, in retirement, correct? I mean, it's, I was just in a meeting with some folks the other day, and their question, they said, Art, you know, we've worked 30, 35 years of our life. We really want to retire, but we're unsure to know how. And, you know, some time and some planning, we got through that. And what, unfortunately, I learned with this couple is the answer was no. They weren't, you know, because of it was mainly because of their spending that there was spending more than what was coming in or could come in retirement. It's just like when you're working, right? If there's more going out than coming in, there's going to be a problem at some point. So.
That's right. Well, before we end this segment, I just want our viewers to understand too, Mike talked about Social Security and how to maybe maximize it. Understand that for a lot of people, that's all they have as far as a guaranteed source, and having that as part of the income plan is vitally important. So anyway, thank you for joining us today. If there was anything here that sparked some interest and you want to maybe ask some questions, Art and I would be glad to answer them for you. By all means, please give us a call. Thanks.